Good morning. I am not sure actually what it is I wanted to chat to you about today. And but I came on anyway because I'm trying to be more visible, more present, more in your face a bit. I'm not sure. And so today I'm literally sitting here talking to you, and my brain is furiously going, what are we trying to achieve with this video today? And that is the crux of the matter, isn't it? Whatever we do online, whatever we do in life to a certain degree, we have to know what outcome we want. What's the purpose? What do we want it to do? And certainly, I don't want to be rambling at you about complete nonsense. I want you to understand a bit more about me and a bit more about what I do and what I can do for you. There you go. They call that a trifactor. So for me, and in case you don't know, I'd be very surprised if you didn't. I am an award winning international TEDx speaker and coach, have been for yonks years doing this. Although not so much these days being the speaker or international or national. Um, haven't done competitions in a couple of years, purely because life changes, doesn't it? And in business, especially when you work for yourself, life changes. And I'm very lucky that I can make those changes and enjoy life and enjoy what I do. And I know for a lot of people, it pays the bills. Don't get me wrong, mine needs to pay the bills. But if you're not doing it and loving it and getting something back from it, then it's not really worth doing the way you are doing it. So I spent a lot of time changing the way I do things. Went through the phase. Don't we all go through the phase of, the gurus who's got all the answers and then you find out they don't? Been through the phase of I'll try it all on my own, just do it my way. And that doesn't work. Tried the sort of what I call a hybrid type situation where I follow lots of gurus and lots of other people. And I think as I got older and wiser, one would hope, that I've realized there isn't a right or wrong way to do anything. There's a certain amount of skill and knowledge you have to have working online. And I think that you need to understand the process and the way people think, the way we buy online today. And there's a definite difference in how people in different ages digest information that you're giving them. Like my grandchildren, for instance, well, not my youngest because he's only just coming up for 2, but who knows? It's all quick and fast. It's all, reels and short stories and things they can laugh at and challenges, and life is just way so fast for them, and keeping up with that, unless you're that age, is exhausting. And equally, I don't understand half the language they use anymore or the references they use anymore. And then you get this sort of middle group who have grown up on Facebook and LinkedIn and other social media. So, they're all pretty savvy about that. And so you spend half your life trying to create content for social media. And that includes videos and TikTok and Twitch and all the others that are going on. And I think the idea is that you find the one that works for you. Yeah, I'll let you know when I find that one out. And then my age group, to a degree, now I was brought up. Well, no, I wasn't. There wasn't such thing as computers. We only had 3 channels on the TV. You know, we used to listen to the radio over Sunday dinner, and there wasn't this pace going on. And then I think I must have been 20, 21 or so when the very first computers came out. And, we had these things and you had to understand a bit of coding to make them work. And what they produced was like ridiculous. We'd spent hours trying to make a square turn over or turn into something else. And that progressed. And it progressed quite slowly until I would say the last 10 years. And then, oh my, it's just exploded in all sorts of different things. And suddenly we're selling online. Suddenly, this online business is our reality as a business owner. And even if you own a bricks and mortar shop, you'll still have to put a presence online to reach people. And we're not just reaching people locally or even nationally, this is international. And the skills we have had to learn to cope with that, whew, that's been a big learning curve. And every time we think we got it, something changes, something new comes in. And the biggest issue for me has always been marketing. And I have followed some of the best marketers, and I have, really took on board what it's supposed to do. And even today, I download, these explanation things or whatever on how to market whatever you do. And they all say the same thing. Trust me on this, they all say the same thing in different ways. And it's become a fight against what I know in my head and what works. And I've yet to find that balance. I did have it once, trust me, I had it once and I lost it, but finding that balance is quite difficult. And so there's this idea that we spend more time online, more time engaging with you, being more authentic, being more everything, more visible, more there, more present, that I wonder if, all this constant shouting is doing us any good. Or are we getting that proverbial sore throat, for this constant thing? Now, I've always banged on about speaking. That's my forte. I speak and I speak well. And I understand how to speak online as well as on a stage. I understand the psychology of people listening. I understand how you engage an audience, whether it's for 40 or 400, 4,000 people. I understand how the voice works as an instrument, because that's what it is. It's like playing any instrument. You need to understand how it works, how the breath helps to make it work. All of that, that's what I do. And hence, bringing this all back to the beginning of not knowing what I was going to say today, I want to reach you through the power of my voice. And I want you to reach your audiences through the power of your voice. And so many people think they can't do it. They don't want to be public speakers. Well, that's fine, but you've still got to speak. There are people like me who are lazy. Yeah, I'm lazy at times. And I just want to listen to something. I don't want to read. I want to listen, or I want to watch. I want to know more about that person. I want to know their background story. I want to know the whys and the wherefores, and the purpose. And that's something you need to consider. All of you that run businesses need to consider. What is your purpose? What is your why? What is your story? How are you telling that story? And I today have told a story, a very sort of pushed together, squeezed together short story of my online life. I haven't got into the whole, it's not a biography. And we all have a set of stories in a series of stories, from our life story to, why we set up in business, why we did what we did, what happened there, who's the hero, who's the villain, how is it solved? And we go from little tiny things that happen in a day to much, much bigger But we're all fascinated, aren't we, by people's stories? We love it. We love gossip. That's why reality TV is so popular. We want to sneak a look behind the curtain. We want to see what's going on in real life, not the persona these people show up with. And I've been a great advocate, again, because I'm lazy, in just being me, as authentic as I can be. I don't slap all the makeup on. I don't get dressed to the nines because I rely on the content and the way I tell you to be valuable to you. I'm not saying I'm going to sit here in my pajamas. I promise, I am dressed. I do not have my pajamas on. And I dress to give me that feeling of confidence. And I feel confident in a certain style. If I have to put some posh frock on or a posh suit and have to tarp myself up, I don't feel very comfortable. And I want to be comfortable, and you need to be comfortable when you're talking to people through a camera online. And for many of you, you think you've got it. But have you? Are you truly using your voice to go through that lens and actually have the listener engaged enough to stay listening to the end? That's for you to decide. But if you want some help with all that, if you want to talk about that and explore this whole idea of how you speak, use your voice, encourage, persuade, influence, call it what you like, then get in touch. It costs nothing to have a virtual cup of tea and a chat, except my cup of tea won't be virtual because I will have a real cup of tea. So the purpose of today was to say to you, know what you want out of it, understand the outcome you want, and start there. Bye.